So it's very easy to judge and less easy to understand. Sometimes we have to talk less and listen more. Voilà. Uh, in life and in drinking.
Hey, welcome to Beyond Organic Wine. I'm Adam Huss. Thanks so much for listening. With Beyond Organic Wine, I hope to inspire and inform you so that you can have meaningful impact on shaping the future of wine. Most of this episode is for paid subscribers only. If you'd like to listen to the full episode and support Beyond Organic Wine and make all the other content possible, you can subscribe on the Substack app or at beyondorganicwine.substack.com. Also, just leaving a great review and telling a friend helps a lot as well. A really big thanks to those of you who already subscribe and support in many ways. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you. This week, I published a free article on Beyond Organic Wine Substack titled Mildew versus Hybrid Grapes, Who is Winning? It has become one of the most viewed articles in the shortest amount of time of anything I've published on Substack. The entire article was a rebuttal of another piece that was published on a well-known wine Substack, and which multiple people sent to me or quoted to me. To be fair to the author of that article, it did present a comprehensive view of the problems that some European wine growers face right now as they try to navigate prohibitions against copper, appellation restrictions, farming organically, climate change, increasingly outdated grapevines, and evolving fungi populations. They've really painted themselves into a corner that comes from knowing that your grapes require a kind of farming that destroys your environment and adds to the environmental stresses that impact your viticulture, while simultaneously being unwilling to change your grapes. The author failed to point to this unwillingness to allow for and change the grapes we grow for wine as the primary problem that Europe has created for itself, and instead gave everyone growing these maladapted status quo varieties the impression that changing those grapes would be futile. It's fascinating to me to see the extent to which people avoid critical thinking and the rules of logic to support the status quo. And sometimes I have to point these things out. So please check out my article if you haven't, Mildew versus Hybrid Grapes, Who's Winning? My guest for this episode is Daniele Delaini, who owns and farms and makes wine for his family winery, Villa Calicantus, near Lake Garda in northeast Italy. He grows most of his grapes on cement pergola, what they call locally pergola veronese, and farms local indigenous varieties of grapes biodynamically and makes wine without adding anything to nor subtracting anything from the grapes. While they do add tiny amounts of sulfites and large amounts of care, intention, and soul to the wines. I've been fortunate enough to taste 3 Villa Calicantus wines, and they're beautiful, even classical examples of Vino Veronese, utilizing Corvina, Rondinella, and Molinara varieties to make a white, 2 rosés, and 3 reds. There is a consistency in using indigenous grapes when your intention is to listen to and translate your land into wine. This is something we could learn from here in the U.S. I also love how he doesn't like to talk about the flavors of the wine. He instead encourages drinkers to open their minds and let the wine speak to them, to listen, to try to understand rather than to immediately judge. If wine made from 60-year-old pergola-trained indigenous biodynamically farmed vines sounds good to you, I think you'll like Villa Calicantus. Enjoy. Daniele, thank you so much for doing this. Welcome to Beyond Organic Wine.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for inviting me.
Could you say your full name and the name of your winery and where you are in the world?
Well, I'm Daniele Delaini. I'm the owner, vine grower, winemaker with my wife Chiara at Villa Calicantus estate in Bardolino, that is on Lake Garda in the northeast of Italy.
Lake Garda in the northeast. Yeah, you sound like you almost have a German accent. Is that possible?
Well, before making wine, I lived in a couple of countries, and so I have an accent that is slightly different from the usual Italian accent.
Got
So
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a mix of different things.
Right.
And I'm close to Germany, so it's possible if you see me, it happens often that it says, "Oh, you're really Italian." Yes, yes. But
Right.
anyway,
Right. Nice. How long have you been doing Villa Calicantus?
15 years now.
Okay.
So my family makes wine since 19th century, the end of 19th century, when my great grandfather started. And but he had a huge property around here between Verona and Lake Garda. He gave the property where now we have the winery to my grandfather in 1923. My grandfather had not huge property, but a big property around here with vines, olive trees, crops in general. And he established the winery in this 1840s villa that is in the center of a small village on the hills close to Lake Garda. So he started to make wine in 1923. He did wine until the end of his life. And after his death, it has been at the end of the 70s, my family then decided in the 80s to close the winery and to sell most of the properties they had at that time. And so only the villa and 1 hectare of vines that are here above the villa on one of the highest hill of the area remain in the property of the family. The villa and the other houses around here have been abandoned for quite, more or less 30 years. The vines rent, and until when I inherited this family property in 2011. 2011, I was working in a bank in Paris,
Uh-huh.
and so I decided to. Well, I had two choices, but basically, I could sell everything and make good money for a couple of generations of my family, or to try to do something out of this place. And I decided the second. Um, so I quit the bank, came back to my little village where I born, and I tried to. I had in mind to try to make great wines
Hmm.
um, in a natural way, let's say, even if
Uh-huh.
I don't like very much this word. But
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
We can talk about that.
yeah, so it's 15 years now. Well,
Yeah.
so
So
we
what?
started with 1 hectare, doing few thousand bottles, and then little by little, by little, by little, by little, by little, we arrived now to 8 hectares of vines and a couple of hectares of other stuff. And I think we reached the right balance to be the right surface to be able to manage everything in the right way, no matter what is the weather we have.
Nice. Really? How did you? What's your approach to that?
But we work in biodynamics, so we are the meta certified. The idea is uh, um, how to say. Um, we produce six wines. So let's understand the approach. We produce six wines. All the wines are made with Corvina Rondinella Molinara, that are three local varietals that exist only in Verona. Verona
Right.
is northeast of Italy. Okay, so
How long? So when you talk about your varieties there, I mean, you think of them and you refer to them as indigenous, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, because
Or
uh,
I think you used the word autochthonous.
pardon.
Autochthonous, is that the
Yeah,
word?
yeah, autochthonous. Yeah, usually we use this kind of word because it's a kind. These varietals are are used only in the Verona province. I mean, you don't find these in other places around the world, for at least what I know. Um, you find these varietals in the Bardolino appellation and in the Valpolicella appellation,
Uh-huh.
so Amarone and these kind of wines.
Hmm.
Um, so we have very specific varietals, low in color, low in alcohol, uh, low body for our red wine if you compare it to Merlot or this kind of varietals. So, what we want to produce are wines that express not only the specificity of the varietals or of the appellation, but they have to express the soul of the place where they are coming from. Each wine is coming from different vineyards, so each vineyard has his wine, every wine has his vineyard. In order
Yeah.
to be able mm, to have wines that even if they are made with the same varietals, the differences are between each wine are coming from the differences between the places they're coming from. Okay.
Yeah.
So the agriculture what we need is something that permits the vines uh, to be in the best possible situation for them to react to what is the weather of that vintage. And so our work is a very precise work of managing each vine, each bunch, uh, the leaves around the bunches, the capacity of the vines to react of rain, sun, or whatever, because we are in north of Italy, so close to the Alps. So the weather is completely different of what often you think about Italy. Between here and Tuscany or south of Italy, the weather is more close to Germany than to south of Italy. Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
we have a lot of rains, a lot of humidity in general, uh, and so you have to be very careful on the manual work we are doing of each on each vines. Voilà. So biodynamic is the base,
Right.
and it's not only, let's say, a tool to permit the soil to be alive, the vines to be in balance, but also philosophy. As family, we have, let's say, married. We have accepted. Also, our kids are going to a school that is based on the philosophy of Steiner, so Steiner School. So for us, is something very deep. I mean, so the spirituality of our approach is very important. The energy of the place where we are living, the energy of each vineyard is very important. Uh, in order to have wines that have something, a complexity that goes beyond alcohol, acidity, or this blah blah blah.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you. That brings up something. I mean, when you were faced with that decision back in Paris to, sell or return to the land, what caused you to make the decision that you made? Like, what were you thinking? What were your, what was that decision about? The rest of this episode is available for paid subscribers to the Beyond Organic Wine Substack, and you can become a paid subscriber very easily at beyondorganicwine.substack.com or on the Substack app. And I really appreciate your support. Thanks so much for listening. And a big thanks to Colden Pro for the opening music, and Colden Pro and Daniel Foster for this closing song as well.
Oh, bury me beneath the willow, under the weeping willow tree, so she will know where I am sleeping, and perhaps she'll weep for me. My heart is sad, I am so lonely, for the only one I love. When sail I see her, oh no, never, till we meet in heaven above. Oh, bury me beneath the willow, under the weeping willow tree, so she will know where I am sleeping, and perhaps she'll weep for me. Want to take a break?
Well, I'm supposed to do something fancy.
If you want to.
Can't do it.
Okay. Tomorrow was to be our wedding, God. Oh God, where can she be? She's out a courting with another, and no longer cares for me. So